landslide of stage blood. Did a party city throw up on you? Hey friends, what's up? It's me, Kat, and today I'm going to embarrass myself on the internet because I feel like it's been a while since I've done that and I like my life to have consistency. Today I'm bringing back kind of an old series I used to do on my channel that was called Bedtime Stories or Show Mishaps, and this is that. Except it's not at night, it's just the middle of the afternoon and it's really hot. I'm still wearing a Geeky Show t-shirt though. This is from a really cool little indie shop called Infinite Wonderland. What's your damage, Heather? That's my Jessica Keenan win impression. Anywho, today we are going to be talking about some more show mishaps, some more onstage mistakes, some bloopers, if you will. My name's Kat Steele. I really like musicals, so much so that I accidentally created an online musical theater cult. You can hit subscribe to join the cult. First we're gonna take over Broadway and then the world. World domination through show tunes. I'm usually not this creepy, I'm just in a weird mood, okay? Ooh, question of the day, what are your show mishaps? Have you done anything funny on stage? Have you made a mistake? Have you totally messed up an audition? Let us know in the comments down below. I love hearing these kind of stories because honestly, I like hearing it from people that I admire or people I know or people that I feel like are my peers and friends, aka you guys, because it makes me feel a little better when I mess up. And I used to definitely be someone who really beat myself up when I made a mistake on stage or online, and I still do. If only I knew I was going to mess up today's camera settings. Yikes. Just because you mess up one thing doesn't mean that everything is messed up. So the last musical I did was Evil Dead the Musical, which, like, if you know the 1980s franchise Evil Dead, it's kind of like a parody slash love letter to that series. I played Shelley, which was the archetype of the dumb blonde girl in a horror movie. Typecast. So as you can imagine with Evil Dead the Musical, there were a lot of technical elements and special effects and practical effects, many of which, because of the tight time crunch, we didn't get to work with until opening night. So granted, all of these mistakes, or at least most of these things that happened, I don't think the audience noticed or hopefully didn't mind too much. But as an actor and someone who, you know, knew every single moment of the show, it's kind of difficult to not hone in on those things. So first off, spoiler alert for Evil Dead the Musical, my blood pack got progressively harder to detonate as the run went on. It also got progressively way more filled. So my character in Evil Dead the Musical got shot as, you know, she gets taken over and possessed. So basically imagine like a mic belt with like a little sandwich baggie filled with fake blood. But when I went to do that the first day, it didn't break. So I hit it harder again as I'm like still turned and I have to turn and face the audience like covered and dripping in blood and it's not breaking. So I end up grabbing it and squeezing it so that it would explode, and it exploded. Like, it got a good 4 feet on me and it just kind of like went out alien style. Once that happened, I was like, okay, I know now that I need to squeeze this thing. I can't just hit it. So ultimately what was supposed to be a very simple like, oh, gunshot turned into a gunshot. As you can tell, I am a very subtle, nuanced actress when it comes to campy musicals. There was just more and more blood put into the pack as the show progressed. So by closing, my entire front of my t-shirt, my chest, my face, my hair, and my jeans were soaked. It was just one tiny little blood pack. Also, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. Right after I get shot, I was supposed to back up into a breakaway wall. It was super cool, so basically they shoot me through a wall. And there were landing pads and stuff behind there so that I wouldn't get hurt, but it just looked like a really cool stunt. So I want to say on opening or first preview, I go to do the stunt, I have the issue with the blood pack, but I resolve it pretty quickly and I'm like, okay, I feel good. I'm a little jarred because, you know, my effect didn't work the way I thought it was going to. So then they load up to shoot me and I fly back to do my stunt, and I miss the wall. I missed the breakaway part of the wall, so I just hit the regular wall. Full force. This tiny little bloody blonde girl slams into the set at full force, got pretty bruised up, got pretty scraped up, like half my body did go through the door, so I ended up being able to like kind of turn into it and run away. I had a bunch of friends see the show that night and they were like, wow, that stunt looked really good, like you looked like you were really in pain. And I was like, thanks. Another really funny thing that I think kind of happened because we didn't work with the blood until opening night in a show filled filled with blood, but there was just too much cleanup. We also had a splatter zone. Like, we had blood cannons that would shoot out about 20 feet into the audience. So it was a mess to try to like do any of that. So of course we didn't do any dress rehearsals with it, but because of that, the blood effects reacted in different ways than we were expecting. I think my favorite example of that was there's kind of like a montage at the end of the show where Ash, the hero, kills a bunch of the possessed demons. So it's just kind of like a funny montage where he's killing everyone, he's shooting everyone, he's stabbing, all the fun stuff. There's a really funny bit where we had Ash reach into someone's chest, pull out a heart, and then like splash the audience with blood because the heart was a sponge. So he douses the audience a couple of times with the sponge, and then he throws it up and back, and I'm supposed to catch it. I caught it maybe like right here, like kind of right in front of my face. So the force of the sponge was still going. What I didn't take into account is how wet that sponge still was. So when I caught that wet sponge, blood splattered all over my face. And granted, I'm already covered in a different formula of fake blood because I'm supposed to be dead, but this was like fresh, wet, warm fake blood, and I had, you know, like another 20 minutes on stage after that, and I was like, oh, this is much more blood than I signed up for. In the mouth. That was ridiculous. And actually by the end of that scene, all of the floors would get doused in blood because we would have the blood cannons going off, people were wearing blood packs, we had different effects like the sponge. Basically the floor was just wet, so much to the point that right after that scene we had to have someone mop the stage for the rest of the show to continue because it was too much of a safety hazard. So in that fight montage, I was one of the last people to get killed. One of the performances, there was just a lot more blood than usual. So I went to go do my get killed stunt, which was like a couple of shotguns and like a weird dirty joke that I did with Ash. So I do my stunt fall after getting shot again, and there's just so much blood that I slide about 3 feet back into a set of cabinets. Basically, there was enough stage blood that it effectively created a slip and slide. I was in a slip and slide of stage blood, and I crashed into the cabinets, and I was just soaked in blood, like my entire front. It was just like, did a Party City throw up on you? And I was just wet and squishy. We had a great small tech crew on that show, and they had to just peel my costume off of me for that quick change because it was just getting everywhere. They literally just wrung it out over a bucket. I have a list of the funny things that happened on my phone, and I totally just remembered the exact same thing happened, but during the finale. So the stage gets mopped up after that killing montage and right before the finale song, which is supposed to take place in a completely different location. So I'm running around, I'm playing a different ensemble character, I'm effectively like a shopper in a Walmart. I'm running, I'm dancing, and then I'm sliding. I had zero traction. I was standing on a slip and slide of stage blood. It truly looked like I had tried to walk onto an ice rink. I was just like wiggling around. I don't think a lot of people noticed, but one of my best friends, Mariah, did. Mariah, you can't call Tigger Spring Daddy. Spring Daddy. And she lost it. Like, she just full on turned around, covered her mouth, and blatantly laughed at me. I'm looking at the list again, and apparently I slid again during the big dance number Necronomicon. Sounds about right. I'm just a mess in that show. Now that I think about it, I'm wondering if this was really just a me problem. Because no one else slipped, so maybe it wasn't the blood's fault. Maybe it was just me. And frankly, I think the most embarrassing thing that I have ever done on stage, and I'm honestly cringing thinking about it right now, I just broke out into a cold sweat. I accidentally walked on stage during a scene I wasn't in. In fact, my character had already been killed off at that point. So again, I was on a lot of cold medication, like a lot of hardcore cold medication. I think I was on antibiotics too. I don't even remember what I was taking, but I was a mess. I was shaking all the time. I didn't really know what was going on. I don't think I was even driving myself to the theater. It was really rough. So the way that our set was built was that we had a window in the back of it because it's supposed to be a cabin. Now, there are certain times in the show where people like walk by the window or like a tree crashes in through the window. So that window was a practical working window that you could see things through from backstage. So whenever the window wasn't in use, there was like black duvetine that was covering it so that you could cross backstage and not worry about it. Well, in my cough medication state, I wanted to take care of all my things early. I wanted to take care of my preset costume pieces. I wanted to make sure everything was set and ready to go for the show. So I pick up my quick change costume and I'm walking backstage. I'm making great time. I'm so ahead of the game. I see the director flagging me down from across the stage and I'm like, oh, he's so proud of me for setting my stuff early. Nope! The Doofatine was not there and the window was open. So there's just a regular scene going on stage, and in the window in the background, I just walk on by and I'm holding a trench coat, I'm holding some boots, I'm holding a hat, I'm just walking. There's a horror movie show going on and I'm just walking in the background like nothing's happening. It was truly the most embarrassing moment of my life. I still can't believe that happened. I still can't believe that happened. Oh my god. And right in front of the director. Definitely, if I had an understudy, I would have called out that day because I was just so stupidly ill. But like, yikes. Be sure to leave your stage mishaps in the comments down below. I'll definitely be checking them out and reading them. I love reading them. Also, if you guys are going to be in New York City on September 24th, there is going to be a really cool TEDxBroadway talk happening. The initial speaker for the event will be the newly Tony Award winning director of Hadestown. Tickets are now on sale, but they've also created the Young Professionals program, which is a way for the next generation of theater artists to see this important talk for free. So if you want a chance to see this incredible TEDxBroadway event, you can submit your application by June 24th. I'll link the info down below. This isn't sponsored. I am not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form, but this is going to be an incredible event and something that I would love to attend if I was going to be in New York, but I'm in LA. Unless I'm in New York during that time, in which case that would be dope. But if you're lucky enough to be in New York City, this is going to be a crazy event and really, really cool. So be sure to check it out and be sure to check out the Young Professionals program to see if you can get free tickets. If you want more bedtime stories in the future, give this one a big thumbs up. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I hope you guys are having a great day. I love you so, so much. Break a leg and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!